Dark Side of the Ring. We were going to do an episode review. I watched half of it, you watched none of it. So we can't really do a full review of it. But the crux of the matter is, and you didn't really seem to know very much about Devon Nicholson, Hannibal, aside from when I think you did an interview with him a good few years ago now. But he has claimed for many years and successfully sued Abdullah the Butcher for giving him hepatitis C. And he basically starts off this Dark Side of the Ring saying that he wishes Abdullah dies a slow, painful death. And I was like, seems a little bit out of, you know, a bit of disparity between sort of stuff there, pal.
So he claims he caught hepatitis C from Abdullah. He told me the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I did an interview with him, I don't know, 5 years ago, I guess. And I forgot, I was still living in Nashville then. And he came to Nashville, said he was working his way down south to interview a bunch of other guys. And, but he said he caught it from Abdullah in Puerto Rico, which is easy to believe, because Puerto Rico was Blood City. But I'm thinking, you know, he's not the only one that he was in the ring with bleeding. And I heard nothing of Abdullah ever having hepatitis C, ever. And if that is true, I wonder why Carlos Colon doesn't have it. I don't know. So if he did, but he sued him and he won $2.2 million, right? That's what he was awarded.
Yeah, he didn't get a penny of it though, because Abdullah, I think, either shut his restaurant down or just put the restaurant and all his property into his wife's name, and Hannibal didn't get any of it.
Yeah, he won the suit, but anyway. But Hannibal, I'm learning now. You're telling me that he's been involved in a bunch of other legal happenings. Yes or no?
Yes. Before we get to that, I've got quite a list here. But before we get to this, I want to bring up the fact that he blames... okay, two things, actually. One, Hannibal, as we can see online from previous matches, is that he was doing quite a lot of tours of Puerto Rico at the time where there is a lot of blood. And I suspect that he was bleeding more than once. I don't know that for sure, but relatively safe because it's Blood City to come to that conclusion. So I don't quite know how it's come to that bit where it's definitely Abdullah the Butcher who gave him Hep C. Similarly, he blames Abdullah the Butcher for not getting a contract with WWE, and he definitely would have been a WWE megastar if it wasn't for Abdullah the Butcher and the hepatitis C. Now, what's interesting about that is about 2012 or 13, this is off the top of my head, I don't know, it was quite a few years ago, he was apparently, according to him, was given some experimental treatment that functionally cured him of hepatitis C. And if this happened, let's say 10 years ago, he would have been about 30, around that age, which means that he would have been in prime position to be hired by WWE because they like people that age and they like people who are seasoned and whatnot. Yet, WWE still didn't hire this amazing wrestler, in his mind only, because he's got a horrible, horrible track record. He's got a terrible reputation in the business, to the point that he had to start his own little independent wrestling thing up north in Canada, and then book like a wrestling legend to come down to wrestle him, and then he would beat them in the main event, just so he could say, I beat Lanny Poffo, I've beat Greg Valentine. And there's been many issues that have arisen from there. Firstly, let's get to the whole WWE thing. He's did many tryouts. As far as we can tell, he was never actually turned down for a WWE... Well, he may have been turned down for a WWE developmental contract to go to Heartland Wrestling Association or whatever, over the hepatitis C. That, maybe. But after he was functionally cured and in his physical prime and the right age and everything, WWE never came a-calling, Impact never came a-calling, AEW's never come a-calling, Ring of Honor never came a-calling, MLW never came a-calling. So he's just basically decided to blame Abdullah the Butcher for all his personal failings and the fact that he's not actually that great of a wrestler apart from in his own mind. I can get to more legal stuff if you want, but I've said a lot there if you want to digest it.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with that. But Hannibal, from what I've seen, and I've only met him one time, so you can gather only so much in a one-time meeting. But what I did notice that if he was very reserved in speaking to be a wrestler. I mean, he spoke in a monotone, and he would say, you know, he wouldn't go up and he wouldn't go down. And he was talking to me, and I was going, I mean, it's a constant level that you'd have to listen to him.
It's probably because he finds talking and breathing at the same time difficult.
I can't believe you said that.
Oh, okay.
You are so mean. You're so mean.
He's a dick. Apparently, it's just he's a dick. Right, so I already teed you up that I was going to do quite a lot of talking on this one. Right, so apparently he had some issue with me. I don't know what it was because, you know, I don't.
Okay, wait a minute. The last podcast we did.
Yeah.
You said the same thing about Vince Russo.
No, Vince Russo's never had an issue with me as far as I can tell.
No, but you said he was a butthole.
No, I said that he was privileged and to be in the position he was in, and he shouldn't be complaining publicly to get sympathy.
Oh, okay.
This
is entirely different.
No, apparently Hannibal had some problem with me because I posted some video with, and this actually goes to the first thing I was going to mention. Lanny Poffo, the very first person I ever interviewed, he said something to the effect of, when he was doing some worked shoot sort of angle where he slaps Hannibal in the locker room and then Hannibal puts him in a Kimura. And the first thing Lanny said was, God, I thought it was meant to be, you know, a work, and then it almost turned into a shoot because he was really slapping that thing on. And then he apparently worked for him another time. And according to Lanny, Hannibal or one of the other people who worked for him filmed him while he was naked in the shower and then posted it online.
Who filmed who?
Well, Lanny was filmed.
Oh.
And someone in that circle, whether it was Hannibal or someone else, actually filmed him without his permission, obviously, and then posted it to like the Facebook or something, which is weird. Criminal.
I never heard that.
No. There's been various accounts of stuff that I won't repeat, but the referee thing, I refreshed your memory because we talked about this. No, we didn't talk about this, did we? This is before we did a podcast where he stabbed a referee constantly in the head. Apparently, he was meant to zip him once because the referee said he was a bleeder and he would take the blade. And instead, this Hannibal character was wearing a mask and then stabbed him 20 times in the head with a razor blade to the point that they had to shave his head, sew up his head with dozens of stitches, and he's scarred for life. And Hannibal's explanation, or Devon's explanation, was, oh, well, I couldn't see through the mask. So you must have been able to feel the razor blade slicing his head open again and again and again, and the blood dripping down your hands. You must have probably, you know what I mean? It's just another excuse that doesn't wash. You're just a maniac.
I remember this. Hannibal, and I saw you showed me a picture of the referee's head after it was over and completed. The referee had hair going in.
Yeah.
But the picture you showed me was he was bald, so he had to cut his whole hair, and then they had to stitch it up. And he had like 10 or 12 stab wounds or cut wounds on his head. So that's not a mistake. That's just pure negligence or meanness or something. And I don't know. First of all, you gotta check the sanity of the referee who would tell anybody, oh yeah, just cut me. What? I'm not going to tell anybody to cut me. I wouldn't even tell my daughter to cut me. Somebody I would trust. But oh no, you're gonna trust a crazy wrestler that you don't even know, and he went in there and he messed the guy up.
Hmm.
But no legal charges were filed or anything.
Amazing how he never got arrested, or like maybe just won't ever go to Texas again. I don't know. I don't know what the score is there. But he then committed, allegedly, our favourite word. Well, it was all posted. We did refer to this, that he was arrested for assaulting his girlfriend or some girl or manageress or valet or whatever that he was hanging around with at the time. And we don't even know, like at this point, still if he's still. If that crime is being prosecuted or if it's been dropped or what at this point.
So let me ask you, what is he doing now? He's still doing his podcast?
I believe he is. In fact, I know he is because a few days ago I posted, when Adrian Street died, I posted a nice tribute, and then I wanted to see if anyone else had. So I Googled it and only he had done one, and I watched it for about a minute. And like, this is meant to be a tribute to a wrestler. I actually burst out laughing because it was so bad. He was like, oh, this window licking fuck knuckle. Sorry, borrowed. It's just a fucking mouth breathing knuckle dragging.
That is actually funny. I shouldn't laugh at that.
But I mean, he's just a clown. He's just a knob sock. This
a knobs. To all the Americans we have listening, a knob sock. We don't know what that is.
It's
What's
a sock
that
you put your cock in.
Oh my God!
So anyway,
ladies and gentlemen, I have advertised this podcast as pretty clean. To James starts talking, then it dropped down into the R category. Now I got to bring it back up. Okay, a knob sock. Go ahead.
Okay, he's also the worst interviewer on YouTube.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He is. Anyway, there you go. I mean, I've said my piece on him, but I wouldn't have mentioned anything. But apparently, he put out somewhere. There's like this. I don't even know what he said. I just know it's something negative towards me. But the problem is like, intellectually speaking, he's bringing a potato to a gunfight here with his smooth brain, and you can't I'm sure can't process anything beyond 2 syllables. So yeah, fuck you. Anyway,
are you attacking his intelligence level?
I think his actions have over the past whatever decades, I'm sure, has just attacked. You know, it doesn't need attacking. It's playing for all to see.
Okay,
you love this, Dutch. You love it.
I do love it.
You like a bit of controversy, right?